My name is Cassandra. I live in a little town called Spruce Pine, North Carolina that was directly affected by Hurricane Helene. Anybody in their right mind thinking that outside people should not be speaking on what the government has done or is not doing to our area is insanity to me. As someone who is here at Ground Zero in Mitchell County, North Carolina, it is going to take you as the creators on this app to speak up to get us help here. Because I will tell you, our government is not doing a damn thing for us.
Oh, I hope not. Oh, we're gonna go up in the attic if we have to, guys.
We were not warned.
Whoa! Oh, shit!
Get in the house.
Oh, shit!
Go!
Just to give you an understanding of the devastation we're dealing with here. Chimney Rock's gone. Flying Bridge is gone. And the road's gone.
Everything on the farm drowned. Couldn't get everything out. We managed to save one horse.
Leaving comments of, oh, why didn't they evacuate? Da, 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 da. I don't think you comprehend how quickly this happened. And these areas have never flooded like this before.
I don't think I've ever seen,
never
seen downtown Boone flood like this. Look at that.
We have one way in and one way out. How are we supposed to flee if and when that bridge goes? It took our bridge. It took our driveway.
The amount of bridges that are out, the amount of landlocked, stranded people is unbelievable. Guys with me that have done it 30 years, and they've never seen anything like this.
It's been an incredibly apocalyptic weekend for all of us here.
The news is not even coming close to catching the true devastation. There are bodies that are floating down the river, babies.
They literally watched multiple neighbors die. One was hit by a tree, others were washed away. Literally, the house was floating away with people in it. They are in shock. They are traumatized.
It's not enough. What is being done is not enough.
There's still plenty of people completely unaccounted for. Keep these locals in your prayers.
Tell you how many families, even here outside of Charlotte, that are looking for their loved ones up in that area. No one knows anything.
If you go to certain platforms, there is picture after picture after picture of people that are missing and lost and people looking for their family members, and it is not okay.
They're saying just a couple hundred people on the news and social media. He looked at me and just, his face head kind of drooped, and he started choking up. I put my hand on his back and said, buddy, we're doing all we can do. He said, I've talked to people and they're pulling people out of houses about an hour. Just that they couldn't get out. The water took them in, trapped them in, then the silt filled in. They're there. You go down through there and there's just houses with big X's on them or check marks on them. I don't know what the X's mean. I don't want to know what the X's mean, but I'm hoping the check mark means that they're good, that there's nobody in there. It's horrible.
A formal press conference or something from either President Biden or Kamala Harris. I mean, how do you not say anything for 4 days? They've been stranded for 4 days, and this is the first we've heard. from them at all. FEMA is not on the ground there.
Do you have any faith in the federal response here?
No.
All of the relief efforts that have been going on have been by civilians, civilian airplanes, civilian helicopters, civilian rescue vehicles, civilian tractors and dozers, and any kind of rescue and relief has all been done by civilians.
TEMA, I'm guessing that's FEMA for Tennessee. I'm not exactly sure. I think it's supposed to be the disaster relief people, but they were like, do not donate your time. We don't want you to donate time unless we ask for you. And we don't want you to donate stuff to other people. You need to just donate money and stuff to us and get your instructions from us and listen to us. What?
And was telling people to just give cash donations, which a lot of people are saying, if you know what that's about, they put it into a fund. It doesn't necessarily go where you think it's supposed to.
So donate to our local churches because they will make sure that the people that are need it will get it.
And people were saying this woman was making it up and it didn't sound true. But then I found the post from TEMA. They did say that. It's right there.
Up to 2 different locations. We had some sheriffs. We had some other fire departments. They're all leading us to the command post, which is FEMA. They're not going to allow us to do anything.
The people are trying to help the people and they're being turned away.
We got Governor DeSantis of Florida, whose state got hit, sending extra stuff from Florida.
Florida, we have it handled. We got approved for the individual assistance things we've wanted. We have what we need. I think most of the effort should be in Western North Carolina right now.
And people are saying the governor of Florida is doing more for them in Tennessee than their own governor is.
Actually, the American people are the ones who are leading the efforts. And so you can see now that there's a tremendous amount of people that's just stepped up. I've heard from others who said that they haven't heard or seen FEMA.
When I tell y'all I'm super frustrated at the moment is not a lie. For the past 48 hours, I had planned to go to East Tennessee, Irwin, Newport, and all that tomorrow. And then I get a phone call and an email where we're being told to stand down. I've had emails where I've had a woman named Laura ask for help. Her brother got swept away. They have a video of him being swept away, and she's just asking for help to get him. And yet we're being told to stand down. Heard from these 2 people about how he went to take generators and supplies there and he was turned down. The water, food, stuff like that, turned down. Why? You have people that really need things. And I get it. It's such a disarray. I understand this was all so fast. But at the end of the day, man, putting a halt to everything while there's people's lives at stake that are sitting out there somewhere that don't have anything, that may be trapped, may be hurt, and you're asking people to stand down that have the capabilities to help somebody, it doesn't make sense to me.
We're trying to figure out why we can't get there. The only way there is through air. Roads are destroyed. There's landslides, mudslides everywhere. Safest way and the only way we can get there is by flight. Not that many helicopters. I think right now we have 10, but you got to think how many people are missing. And there's certain things I can and cannot say just because. But take that into account. There's a lot of people missing, and it's day, I think, 4 or 5. I have sleep deprivation. I can't think. But it's been a couple of days. People were without food and without water. I think you can only go 2 days without water, and that is if you were healthy.
I want to share with y'all some things you may not know about what's happening in the North Carolina mountains in the aftermath of Helene. Here's number 1. If you have friends or family that are headed into the mountains or who live there, the looting has picked up major steam. I was advised yesterday by a county sheriff to make sure that anybody out and about is carrying, and in his words, carrying with the safety off. There are very aggressive people out there, and I'm just going to go ahead and say this. It's not because they're necessarily awful. They're desperate. Desperate people do desperate things, y'all. And why are they desperate? Because there's no water in some of these communities. We have neighbors in North Carolina with no water. And all I can say is this: the government ain't coming to save you, not now, not ever, because they don't care about you, the people, anymore. It is the citizens who are going to have to step it up. Now, I got to tell y'all, I was floored yesterday by how my community, which is a little over an hour away from the affected areas, showed up at donation sites with water and diapers and formula and some liquid IV. I mean, y'all brought all kind of things, bleach, vinegar. You are ready to help, and we're going to take more donations today, and we're so grateful for everything because I'm going to get it into the hands of actual volunteers. And I was asking people, why are you bringing it to me? Some of y'all don't even know me. And they said, well, we don't trust the relief organizations anymore. Y'all, we have lost our organizations to grifters. We have lost our organizations to liars. And so we have to rely on each other because that's how this country was built. This country was built patriot by patriot. And I can tell you this, as a realtor, I know my realtors in the mountains, and I have talked to them, and they know the neighbors too. So I am getting your donations into hands that are going to get it into hands, and everybody that sent me dollars, I got teams of shoppers out, and I got receipts to prove it, because we are not grifters. We are neighbors, and the patriots that are in the mountains, if you see this, if your family sees this, hear me now. You are not forgotten by the rest of North Carolina. And if you are not in North Carolina, then there are ways that you can give. But can I just remind y'all of something? You cannot eat money. You cannot drink money. So for those of y'all that thought money was your God, and by the way, that includes our freaking elected officials, it's not your God. Told my girlfriend this morning while we were talking about this during our run, I said, tell your children, 'cause she's got grown children, this is why you keep a stash of water on hand. This is why you keep a stash of food on hand. But for those of y'all that are not in affected areas, if you can take your donated items and send it to the mountains, then send it with a friend. Make sure you're sending truckloads so that we don't overload the roads, because our first responders are overwhelmed. By the way, thank you, Governor DeSantis, for doing more for North Carolina than North Carolina's governor has. I'm very grateful for your National Guard, because we have to help each other, y'all. And I'm going to tell you something. If you will share this with somebody who doesn't know what's happening in North Carolina, they need to know. They need to know that there are entire towns gone. Chimney Rock is gone, a beautiful town. Swannanoa, gone. Montreat, gone. Other towns damaged beyond repair. That means our geography has changed, our culture is at risk, but most importantly, our people, our generational people have lost their generational homes. This ain't about your granite countertops anymore. Listen, y'all, listen. Tell somebody how they can help. I am but one resource. There are people I know all over North and South Carolina that have been gathering up goods and trucks. Somebody as far away as Massachusetts putting a truck together. Let me know. I can connect you to where to take things. The Baptists are doing a great job out of Boone. Samaritan's Purse is on the ground. I trust those two organizations. I wish I had trust for more, because I don't trust this government, but I trust the people of North Carolina. Y'all, the biggest thing you can do, pray. Pray right now. Pray fervently that people will turn their hearts back to God, and pray for a hedge of protection around all those who have seen things they should never have to see. I'll tell you one more story before I hang up this video. I had a lady come to my donation site yesterday, and her grandson is 10 years old, living in the mountains with his mother, who works in a VA hospital. They're getting the kid out today to get him home, because they can finally get him out. And they're worried because he has seen things he should never have to see. When you have children that are seeing bodies on the ground and towns gone, we're going to have to answer for that one day, y'all. Please pray. Please do something. And for those of y'all that have already done something, I can't thank you enough.
I think y'all understand how bad it is in the southeast right now. We have towns that don't exist anymore. Chimney Rock is gone. The city of Asheville is cut off from the world. This is not an exaggeration. All the bridges leading into the city have been washed away. They have no food, no power, no water, no internet, no cell service. They don't even have radio. It's a complete dead zone. No one knows what's going on in there. I don't think I'm being dramatic when I say that this is a Hurricane Katrina level event. There was a woman in my town who called for an ambulance, and the ambulance got stranded, and they were stranded for 24 hours, and to my knowledge, the patient didn't make it. People are dying. They're still dying. I've been running the generator for the last 3 days, and we're starting to run out of gas, and this is on Highway 123 heading from Aisley to Greenville, and this was a 1 mile long line to get gas, because they were the only people we knew around that had gas left. I got all the way to the end, and they were out. They had no gas. We checked every gas station in Pickens and Aisley and in Liberty, nothing. And I don't know what I'm going to do when I run out of gas, I'll tell you that much. Try to steal some from my car maybe to keep my food cold, but even then, I don't know. This is the I-40 bridge, from Tennessee to North Carolina. It's gone. It don't exist no more either.
I saw a big old fat log come out. My car, gone. Could have been up there, but I decided to be hard-headed. And now that poor car is holding on by a thread. I called the emergency. They said they're going to be on their way, but I don't know how many people are probably already calling them. I probably should have left. I should have listened to everybody. But did I? No, because I'm hard-headed, so.
Here's your update from Western North Carolina and our Helene help operations. First of all, some really dumb rules have been implemented, y'all. One of our big shelters and distribution centers, the health department told the refugees
those that are stranded who've lost everything, that they could not use the shelter showers without flip-flops. Dumbest thing I have ever heard. These people have lost everything, and you won't let them take a hot shower without flip-flops? Oh! Well, when I got that call, thank you, friends, and thank you to Larry and Concord who hooked us up at the nail supply place, because we sent 18,000 pairs of flip-flops up to the shelter this morning, where one of my girlfriends took a trailer up so people can take a shower. Those are the kind of rules that don't help in a time of absolute survival disaster. That's number one. Number two is, if you're reading about FEMA online and wondering if they're really a pain in the tail, I can confirm it is true. I tried to send in a pallet of chainsaws 2 days ago, and we had to divert it somewhere away from FEMA because they wanted to confiscate. FEMA, those ain't your chainsaws. Our mountain people are much better with them than y'all are, although I'm sure there's some very fine people that work for FEMA. I'm talking about the organization. But those saws need to be in the hands of the guys on ATVs down in the holler and up on these trees where there are blocked roads where we can get access to our neighbors who are still stranded. This is not a one-time little 5-minute storm. There are people that we have not gotten to yet, and we want to get to them. That's why those chainsaws are up there. So fine, we're going to go around you, FEMA, and don't try to get in the way of North Carolina mountain people when we are trying to take care of each other. The biggest thing you have to know here is that neighbors are looking after neighbors, and when FEMA's in the way, don't think you're going to stop us, because that's basically like a Satan roadblock, and God will find a way, because God always wins. The other thing I want y'all to know is that we do have support from all over the country. We've got NYPD, fire departments, we've got linemen and emergency personnel, and we in North Carolina are very grateful that you have chosen to come help us. So thank you to them, but boo to the government agencies that want to get in the way. And by the way, got to add one more thing. The announcement today that this little tiny piddling amount of money is going to go to people impacted by this storm. Are you kidding me? I told y'all before, you cannot eat money or drink money. Why are we not seeing massive supply drops come in? And I mean massive. The government is run by my taxpayer dollars and your taxpayer dollars. They are a net consumer, not a producer. So whatever they're throwing out there comes from me. As a taxpaying citizen, DC, quit trying to buy us off, because you can't buy us for $750 anyway. How about you send in the water we need, send in some ATVs, send in some more chainsaws and fuel, and let us take care of our people and get out of the way, because Western North Carolina is going to pull through this, whether you get in our way or not.
What do the states in the storm zone need, Mr. President? Okay. What do the states in the storm zone, what do they need after what you saw today?
Oh, in the storm zone?
Yes, sir.
I'm wondering what storm you're talking about. They're getting everything they need, and they're very happy across the board.
We are expecting another hurricane hitting. We do not have the funds. FEMA does not have the funds to make it through the season.
Coordinate our communications to the maximum effect for the community that has been impacted. And the federal relief and assistance that we have been providing has included FEMA providing $750 for folks who need immediate needs being met, such as food, baby formula, and the like. And you can apply now for anyone who's watching this who has been affected. There are FEMA personnel who are going door to door to interact personally with folks.
There's no government here. There's no FEMA. People are just coming in here with supplies, fuel, food, whatever we can to try to help this community. Every dollar I make from this video, I'm donating it to Hurricane Helene relief efforts. So please share, repost, comment, like, anything you can do that can boost this video. You're going to help people in need.
My name is Casey Webb. I'm from Swannanoa, North Carolina. I lost everything I have. I just did an inspection with FEMA last night. They told me that I was denied and post-dated my letter for the 5th of October when my inspection was done on the 4th. They have not seen receipts. They have not seen pictures or anything of the things that were in my home and denied me. We have still failed to receive a $750 check. The rooms that FEMA wants you to go stay in during the time of your disaster relief are in Newport, Tennessee, which they sent 500 people there, and then it flooded. I will be in Asheville all day long. If anybody wants to link up with me and talk about what's going on, inbox me and let me know. This is disgusting. I've never seen the government fail us worse.
So I know I do a lot of like fun and like happy videos or whatever all the time, but so I'm here in Boone, North Carolina. I'm at the staging area. I volunteered myself and my canines to come up and do some search and rescue efforts. Here's the situation, okay? FEMA is in the area, and we've been told that if we see any FEMA agents, like, hightail it and go. So, obviously, you see all my equipment. So we've been told to just turn around and go the opposite direction, because what they're doing is they're confiscating everything. Like, they would confiscate all of my gear, my car, my dogs, like, literally everything. There are some people who have been tracking these FEMA agents and what they do with these supplies after, and these are people that are directly associated with the group that I'm volunteering with. And essentially what they're doing is they're taking these supplies to sanctuary areas for illegal migrants and giving it all to them. They are telling the locals here that they have no more money, that they can't give them any money, they can't do anything, but they are confiscating volunteer supplies as they come through, and they are giving it to people who are not legal within the country. Take that information for what you will. This is this information that needs to get out to the news media. This is the information that needs to get out. And honestly, if FEMA is not going to do their job, and I'm not saying that all of the FEMA agents, because I know a lot of canine handlers that are part of FEMA that are doing what they're supposed to be doing. However, why are we confiscating supplies? Why are we taking supplies from people that are coming in to help and have experience and can do the job, and then giving it to illegals and not giving it to the people who have been affected?
Donate. Please donate what you can. Try to find a nonprofit to donate to, church, local PD. A lot of those are taking donations, sheriff's departments. I know my department is running a bunch of stuff to the western part of the state to help. Donate. But please do not donate to FEMA. They are hindering a lot of what people are trying to accomplish out in the western part of the state. FEMA doesn't understand that these Appalachian people are built differently. I'm very familiar with them. They are not going to stand by idly and have government officials tell them what to do. FEMA's playing a game of FAFO because free men don't ask for permission.
Please do not give any supplies to FEMA. If you want to donate supplies to the hurricane survivors from Hurricane Helene, do not give the supplies to FEMA. Give them to a church, give them to a nonprofit. FEMA is not doing what they are supposed to be doing, okay? They don't care about people. They are not here to help people at all. They're not helping people. They are taking supplies and giving them to people who don't even need them. They are taking supplies and running off with them. Do not give any supplies to FEMA at all. If you want to donate supplies, donate them to a nonprofit or to a church. Do not give them to FEMA, okay? And people, let me tell you something, okay? I've been hearing so many stories. FEMA has been knocking on doors, not offering help, just there to ask, hey, what's going on? That's it. Not offering help or anything.
Get here. We need you. We need people experiencing hiking. There's only a few ways to these people. It is to foot, horseback, or helicopter. Dirt bikes, ATVs, side-by-sides. If you have them and can get to East Tennessee or Western North Carolina, we need you. Do not listen to the news when they tell you that they don't want you, they don't need you. I'm telling you, I am here. I live here. I have been already. I'm telling you, we need you. We want you here.
Guys, we're out of here. Here's where the fucking road goes. We're transporting all the pets, all of our shit. This is basically what's stopping us from getting out of here.
My house washed away. I had a cat, I had 2 geckos, and I lost it all.
People's lives could have been saved, and the blood is going to be on the hands of those that did not allow that person who could go help to go help.
Medical support trailer that's here by volunteers. They have doctors and registered nurses. They're all licensed doctors and registered nurses. They were told they couldn't do what they were doing because it was not being federally controlled or something along those lines.
This is the state of North Carolina. This is the area that's without power still. This is also the state of North Carolina. This yellow outline is the country of Belgium that I've overlaid for scale. This is the scale. 230,000 customers without power means households. Based on U.S. Census data, the average household size here is about 3, which means we're talking about 600,000 to 700,000 people who have not had power for a week. That is an emergency by itself. If you don't have power for a week, than if you had food stored in the freezer. No, you don't. If you had breast milk, insulin stored in the fridge, no, you don't. You don't get to run your CPAP machine. 750,000 people without power for a week should make headline news by itself. But power outages are unfortunately one of the mildest of problems. Water is also out. Cell coverage is out. If you're seeing people posting from this area, there's a good likelihood they're having to drive miles to do that. And that is if they have a car that wasn't destroyed, if they can get gas somehow, and if they have roads they can drive miles on. These are the road closures. Okay? And these roads are not closed because there's some water on them. They're closed because they look like this now.
This is probably one of the coolest things I've ever seen. As far as you can see, semi-trucks, side-by-sides trucks, and they're in here cutting. And they don't know these people from Adam. And we got trees over here, people over here, getting ready to go up here to this barn, this house. So we're just here to help these people here. We don't have an organization or anything, but they're just here.
Thing I've ever done in my life. Grovestone Mountain in Asheville is now unpassable. You got 4 days of power up there. I gave every single drop. I even pulled back out of my personal tank. It's a 210 gallon tank, and I gave it everything I had. And the needle was below E when I got there. And both the city and Verizon techs and even people, neighbors and stuff, were like, "There's no way you're gonna make it." Well, mother, I made it there and back. So that's my tower.
And somebody posted this video of trying to get out when this was happening and what it looked like. And again, I just don't think most people realize this flash flooding happened so quickly. So quickly it went from, a little bit of rain to we can't get down the streets, that there wasn't any way for people to leave. This was a lot of people saying they weren't getting any warning at all. They heard nothing. It was raining a little bit. And then all of a sudden the water has risen and it's done. You're not going anywhere. And the mudslides, you just have to see with your own eyes.
You sure we're okay? What? What? The Jeep is gone!
And so you're talking about a wall of water and mud in some cases that went into people's houses all the way up to the ceiling. And so there are people who were swept away trying to escape in their cars by water, or whose houses were swept away with them in it. And there were people whose houses filled up with this mud and they couldn't get out, or their cars filled up with it while they were trying to escape and they couldn't get out. The count of the people who have perished in this is going to be difficult to tally for some time, because there are a lot of people who were lost in this water and mud.
Every single X that you see on a car or structure is the sign of something searched. There are 1, 2, 3 vehicles here, 1 shed, that makes 4, and countless other structures that can't even be accessed.
It feels like a literal war zone right now, but the thing that I'm just trying to tell you everything that I'm seeing and be very transparent. We have seen some federal agents around the Swannanoa area starting late last night that I've heard of, and I have seen some personally today. There are Border Patrol in the Swannanoa area along Highway 70, they're doing body recovery, and I think they're kind of guarding some of the areas where they think that there are more. From the word that I'm hearing, they're putting orange X's on everything that they check. So they'll have an orange X and then they'll have a 0, or there'll be somewhere else that there's an orange X and one had an 11, and that is the body count that was found inside.
With they being the National Guard, have marked over 100 bodies in a 6-mile stretch of river. Possible bodies, just where they think they are. You can't see them, guys. And I had to explain to him something that had to be explained to me, even as a rescuer. When I watched the National Guard and they confirmed that the smells I had been smelling were most likely bodies, I was like, well, where are they so I can get to them? You can't get to them. They're not. They're crushed in debris. They're up in trees. They're under sediment. They're under sand. Unfortunately, it will be a very long time before you find all these people.
Today, my husband left to go help out. He took a truckload of supplies. He's meeting up with an organization there, and I don't know when he will be back. The body count is astronomically higher than what we are being told. He said that they found 36 bodies in one embankment alone. He also said it's true that bodies are being found in trees. He said that looting has started, and if we knew how bad it really was, we would be rioting in the streets. So,
Attack 14 is dead in the water. We're in a Mayday situation. We have the AMRAP in front of us with no way out of this water.
We have multiple people, including juveniles, trapped. Are any resources available to send our way? Over.
I have a 13-year-old, 3-year-old in a house with no oxygen, no power.
Receiving multiple 911 calls about multiple fatalities, houses collapsed.
I need help getting people out of River Street. I still can't get them all out of here. 10-4, I'm heading your way. If they don't move any faster, we're all going to be cooked.
Says there are 25 families stuck. They painted an X in a nearby field. They needing supplies.
Daughter got rescued last night from the Subaru Outback. She's at Percival School. The neighbors thought her parents were trying to get out, and a Toyota Tacoma got swept away. My kids and my mom will be coming out to the interstate. I need you to grab them, please.
Where are they at?
There's a 2,000-pound propane tank coming down the main channel of the river, just past our location.
First Central and Fire and Search and Rescue on scene. Confirmed 2 10-7s.
Thank you. 1100, you copy? Yes, sir. You can get a hold of my wife.
Keep all of those who have been affected in your prayers, and keep all of those who are helping in your prayers.
There are videos coming out that it has been 8 days in some of these areas before anybody has seen any boots on their particular ground. 8 days. 8 days without food, without water, without power. 8 days. And a lot of people are saying it's not their fault that they weren't allowed to go in there. They weren't given orders. Days went by before any of these people were allowed to go in. Since October 6th, I've been seeing video now of their donation sites getting rotor washed by black helicopters. The first one I saw was from October 6th. You had a black helicopter come in and hover over the donation site and then fly in real low and just blow everything all over the ground. And, people are getting hurt, supplies are getting destroyed. And there's talk that transponders are being turned off so that these things cannot be tracked. And it's not the first time it's happened either now. There was another reporting of this happening, at least one other, if not 2 more reports of the same thing. So somebody is actively working to destroy citizen donation sites that are being set up through these organizations to try to help people. It's one of the sickest, most twisted things I think I've seen yet. Make it make sense. As the Cajun Navy said, they wrote, y'all were trying really hard to stay out of the conspiracy space, but some people aren't making it easy. This actually happened to a distribution site we supplied in Western North Carolina. Make it make sense, please. And there really isn't any way to make that make sense without entering a conspiracy space. But, you know, at this point, guys, we really have to stop being scared of these words and these labels, because this stuff is happening. And I can't believe I'm even about to say this after everything I've seen, but apparently the Connecticut National Guard is investigating, or at least reporting on, the investigation into the Black Hawk rotor wash incident. And they're saying that the initial investigation indicates the helicopter in this video belongs to the North Carolina National Guard, and that the pilots have now been grounded until a further investigation can be completed. But in the meantime, what the actual
Any contractor, any car that comes through here must help the residents. You must give everything. No, you must help the residents, and you've got to do it. I want you both of your names, because seriously, it's going all the way to the governor's office.
We're 8 days, 9 days post-hurricane, and that was the first FEMA drop I've seen here in the Swannanoa area.
One helo come in, and I was told that was FEMA, and that was it.
Today was the first FEMA delivery that I've seen or I've heard of in the entire region.
I went to put a couple of people into a hotel last night, and they have a security guard at the hotel, and they said, oh, we're so sorry. The entire hotel has been booked for federal employees. And I was like, no, I have people that would just pull it out of a mountain.
Hey, you've seen them turning people away, though?
Yeah. They've turned people away for the last 2 days. 2 days, they've turned trucks and trucks and trucks.
That's where Jackie had to come back full.
We just seen water come back down here where they just turned them around, told them no.
Asheville, you know, that whole area, wherever they can land and drop off supplies. And FEMA has flown in like 10 or more helicopters and blocked a runway here at Greenville downtown. Okay, here's the helicopters that are blocking one of the runways here at Greenville downtown. All flown in by FEMA helicopter pilots. And they're just sitting there doing nothing. Greenville Aviation over here taking in all kind of supplies, everything that people want to drop off. There's a huge operation going on over here. Yesterday we ran about 30-something planes, and they came in and halted. FEMA came in and halted all that operation.
Today it's awfully quiet, and we see these helicopters lined up. And they have a booth set up here and everything. Turns out that's FEMA. FEMA has shut down all the local donation operations that were going on and delivering supplies, and now they're saying that they're not allowed to deliver any more supplies anymore. So all these people are, unfortunately, have all these supplies but cannot take it up there. So that's our government for you.
We're trying to get some long-term emergency water to the people in North Carolina, and they're being told that they need special requirements from FEMA in order to enter these certain areas. And so we're trying to find the workarounds for that.
I'm here with the FEMA administrator. We've been all over Western North Carolina talking with first responders. We are grateful for the work that FEMA has done.
She's sitting here telling us that go online, apply. Well, okay, hundreds of us still don't have power because you're telling us to go online to FEMA and apply, and you'll get immediate help for $750.
Hi, I'm Marty, and I'm with FEMA. And I'm here to talk to you about the assistance that you can receive from FEMA. There's been a lot of talk about the $750 as your initial assistance. Well, that $750 is to help you with food and water and your essential needs right now.
Well, okay, I went on FEMA, I applied, and I immediately got denied.
Everybody in my area that I've talked to, including myself, who applied for the $750 assistance payment from FEMA, has been denied.
I did
apply for FEMA assistance and was denied.
I just want everyone to know that we are displaced due to Hurricane Helene from Western North Carolina. We cannot go home. We have no power, no food, no water, no nothing. We are spending $400 a night on a hotel due to price gouging in the surrounding areas because they know that people have nowhere to go. We applied for FEMA. Myself and my sister applied. My sister applied first. She got denied. I said, okay, let me try. I applied. We got denied. So everyone's saying FEMA is helping $750. And by the way, that $750 wouldn't even cover 2 nights at this hotel. So I just want everyone to know that FEMA sucks.
FEMA's here. You know what FEMA just told us? We can't get you a phone. I have no ID. I have no way to pay for food. He has no way to get gas. We're stuck. So we have to sleep in a car that's leaking with the same clothes we've had on since the...
So much is going viral online as well. One user suggested yesterday that a militia should go against FEMA. It got more than 500,000 views. What kind of impact has this had on the recovery effort?
It has a tremendous impact on the comfort level of our own employees to be able to go out there, but it's also demoralizing to all of the first responders that have been out there in their communities helping people, FEMA staff, volunteers, the private sector that are working side by side with local officials to go out and help people. I need to make sure I can get the resources to where they're needed. And when you have this dangerous rhetoric like you're hearing, it creates fear in our own employees. We need to make sure we're getting help to the people who need it.
Learning that scientists and researchers are looking at how to change the weather on purpose. That's right. Lasers now could one day manipulate rain and lightning. CBS This Morning contributor Michio Kaku is a physics professor at City College of New York. Professor, nice to see you. Extraordinary seeing Al Gore and Bill Clinton there together with Charlie, wasn't it?
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, they did not get into this discussion, though. But it is fascinating. I mean, lasers, really? To change the weather?
That's right. Well, as Mark Twain once famously said, everyone complains about the weather, but no one ever does anything about it. Well, instead of doing a rain dance, we physicists are firing trillion-watt lasers into the sky to actually precipitate rain clouds and actually bring down lightning bolts. This is potentially a game changer.
But this is experimental.
It's experimental. However, in the laboratory so far it works. When you have water vapor and you have dust particles or ice crystals, you can precipitate rain. It condenses around the seeds. These seeds can also be created by laser beams. By firing trillion-watt lasers, you rip apart the electrons, creating what are called ions, and these ions act like seeds, like dust particles, bringing down rain and even lightning. Go ahead.
Well, this fascinates me in part because, too, I remember reading the stories that China had used this during the Olympics, that the USSR had used this after Chernobyl to create rain clouds. I mean, do those really work then? We have some of these capabilities now?
Inconclusive. Even in the 60s, the CIA used this to bring down monsoons during the Vietnam War, to wash out the Viet Cong. Even in the 60s, the CIA used this to bring down monsoons during the Vietnam War, to wash out the Viet Cong.
Weather manipulation, weather modification is not a conspiracy theory. They have told us time and time again, and by they, I am talking about the powers that be, but scientists, researchers, and so forth have told us time and time again they can manipulate the weather. They can create very powerful storms, monsters. The government has been manipulating the weather ever since the 1930s, if not before then, under such projects like Operation Storm Fury and Operation Cirrus. So it's definitely no secret. Going back to weather manipulation, we actually have something rather interesting when it comes to North Carolina Hurricane Helene and a particular agreement. Now, for those not aware, lithium batteries have been really making their rounds in the news lately. Here in the United States, where I'm from, certain items with lithium inside have been catching on fire. Then I believe there was a port that had cases of lithium, which also caught on fire. So, like I said, we have been really hearing a lot about lithium lately. You see, North Carolina has a lot of lithium deposits. Do you see where I'm going at here? There is a corporation that really wants these lithium deposits. That corporation is called Albemarle Corporation. Now, Albemarle is owned by both BlackRock and Vanguard. That shouldn't be very surprising because BlackRock and Vanguard have their hands in everything. The reason why the Albemarle Corporation said they wanted these lithium deposits was to create lithium batteries for EVs, electronic vehicles. And you have to remember, electronic vehicles are very important to the powers that be, the World Economic Forum, the United Nations, and so forth, when it comes to the 2030 agenda. Matter of fact, last month in September, the World Economic Forum and the United Nations met to speed up the 2030 agenda. So these lithium deposits in North Carolina, again, are very, very important to the powers that be and their agenda. Point two, the Albemarle Corporation wanted to restart mining for lithium at a site along Interstate 85 in Kings Mountain, North Carolina, that was shut down back in the 1980s. But you see, there's a problem. That problem happens to be, and reading this article back on March 29, 2022, residents worry about keeping homes if lithium mining restarts in Kings Mountain. That is right. The same exact place that the Albemarle Corporation wants to start mining. Well, there's homes, stores, and businesses near these deposits. Some of them are actually on top of these lithium deposits. Take, for example, a technical center along Raven Circle, which is still on the 800-acre plot of land that the Albemarle Corporation wants to dig under. Then there's this woman, Deborah Dixon, who told the news she had been told her family's home along Park Race Road is just outside of the proposed mining site, but not quite far enough away to be spared from its impact. So you don't even have to live inside the mining zone, but you can be outside the mining zone and still face an impact. These residents were also worried of a potential buyout, and they would be offered much less than what their homes were worth. Back in 2022, homes sold in Cleveland County around $196,000, and that price was increasing. These community members, these residents, they gathered in protest, they had meetings, they said they definitely did not want to move. Buying a home is very difficult. There were even people who live farther out who also had questions about the impact of air and water quality. And when these questions were raised to the Albemarle Corporation, well, they had no response.
Now, my friends, into the stuff you really want to know about. All right, let's take a look at Florida, and already it's looking like a disco party is going on. A lot of different radar activity going on. We got spikes here going all the way into the Gulf, heavy lines up in this area, and then, of course, we have the one we saw with Hurricane Helene right here going off again. Now, of course, remember, these are just theories that we're talking about here, entertainment purposes only, because no way is weather modification real, right, everybody? Anyway, take a look down here near southern Florida. We got some right angle clouds taking place, a weird situation here ahead of the hurricane. And I want you to think about this, because ahead of Hurricane Helene, we had a very significant low pressure system up by North Carolina already sitting there that then interacted with actual Hurricane Helene, causing the record breaking flooding. Now just look at this one more time. Take a look at what's going on up here, the disco party, and then look at these clouds down here making unnatural formations, right angles. We don't see right angles in nature.
Instead of doing a rain dance, we physicists are firing trillion-watt lasers into the sky to actually precipitate rain clouds and actually bring down lightning bolts.
Then there were the purple clouds, which just seemed eerie and completely abnormal during a hurricane.
A thunderstorm. Here, I'll pan the camera so that you can see. But that is real time. Constant flickering.
Just doesn't stop.
I know. This is crazy.
Yeah, it's insane. Never seen anything like this at all.
Another example is the array of technologies, often referred to collectively as geoengineering, that potentially could help reverse the warming effects of global climate change. One that has gained my personal attention is stratospheric aerosol injection, or SAI, a method of seeding the stratosphere with particles that can help reflect the sun's heat in much the same way that volcanic eruptions do. An SAI program could limit global temperature increases, reducing some risks associated with higher temperatures and providing the world economy additional time to transition from fossil fuels. This process is also relatively inexpensive. The National Research Council estimates that a fully deployed SAI program would cost about $10 billion yearly. As promising as it may be, moving forward on SAI would also raise a number of challenges for our government and for the international community. On the technical side, greenhouse gas emission reductions would still have to accompany SAI to address other climate change effects, such as ocean acidification, because SAI alone would not remove greenhouse gases from the atmosphere. On the geopolitical side, the technology's potential to alter weather patterns and benefit certain regions of the world at the expense of other regions could trigger sharp opposition by some nations.
Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, a congresswoman of Georgia, is now saying the federal government is literally controlling the weather. We're controlling the weather. It's beyond ridiculous. It's got to stop. In moments like this, there are no red or blue states. There's one United States of America, where neighbors are helping neighbors. Volunteers and first responders are risking everything, including their own lives, to help their fellow Americans. State, local, and federal officials are standing side by side. Let me repeat, no one should make the American people question whether their governments will make sure that this is acting on strikes. They'll be there. We will. But now I want to be clear about something. Over the last few weeks, there's been a reckless, irresponsible, and relentless promotion of disinformation and outright lies that are disturbing people. It's undermining confidence in the incredible rescue and recovery work that has already been taken and will continue to be taken. And it's harmful to those who need help the most. There is simply no place for this to happen. Former President Trump has led the onslaught of lies. Assertions have been made that property is being confiscated. That's simply not true. They're saying people impacted by these storms will receive $750 in cash and no more. That's simply not true.
Literally, what is FEMA? So my daughter, whose house got completely wiped out, she has no flood insurance, meets with a FEMA person, applies for everything she doesn't get the $750 that Kamala says that she's supposed to get, gets approved for $300 for personal items. What is that going to do? That's literally what she got. Her entire first floor is wiped out. We hauled everything off. It's gone. So what is FEMA? And being a mayor,
so they didn't even give her the full $750.
They didn't even give her $750. Denied the $750.
They gave her $300.
They gave her $300. That won't even cover what's in the refrigerator.
And that's coming from a mayor in North Carolina.
Congress allocated roughly $1 billion for migrant assistance. The Shelter and Service Program helps distribute funds to help communities provide services to migrants, such as temporary shelter, food, and urgent medical care. And FEMA says on its website that disaster relief money has not been diverted for other non-disaster related efforts.
This is Savannah Hernandez in Brunswick, Maine, reporting to you from the apartments where migrants are getting their rent paid for up to 2 years. Now, I wanted to give you guys a first inside look at these units. The migrants shared with us that they come furnished, so they have a flat screen TV in there, couches, tables, and chairs. We also asked them as well, hey, are you paying utilities here? They shared with us that nope, they do not have a water bill, they do not have an electricity bill.
We don't pay anything.
Because there is a housing crisis going on currently for residents, and these buildings were initially created for Maine residents, but then it was decided that homeless migrants would be living here. Now, as an American, you can rent out one of these units, but a 1-bedroom is going to run you about $1,800, and a 2-bedroom is going to run you about $2,300. This is the same county that has received FEMA funding from that same program that spent almost $1 billion through the fiscal year of 2023 and 2024 on sheltering illegal immigrants throughout the United States of America.
FEMA said, and you can take this as a direct quote, said that they are too tied up at the border to send any more representatives. Yeah, at the border. So anyhow, I guess border control trumps whatever's going on here.
That program, Shelter and Services, has been jointly operated in the Biden administration by FEMA and the Customs and Border Patrol. And cameras showed waves of those immigrants who were being directly ushered into the country by Customs and Border Protection officers.